TM Sadaf, Aquaphobia.
Thank you, Timot. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and esteemed guest. I, Sadaf, was presenting my speech on aquaphobia. So almost every person you meet in your life, including yourself, have some sort of fears. And my love to meet diverse kind of people and listen to their stories, I got to know people have some bizarre kind of fears. So in my last trek, I met a person who got fear of number 8. Can you believe that? Yes, it is a true story. In the same way, I had aquaphobia. It means that a large amount of water collected in one place gave me enormous fear. So some of you must be wondering, how could somebody get the fear of water? As a matter of fact, our human body made of salt and water. So let's give you a brief note about how people generally get strange fears. So generally it happened because of some bad incident happened in your life, most specifically in your childhood. And it is our brain collect different scenario in a very complex, twisted way, and we start perceiving the world in such a way that it didn't happen to us at all, and God acquired some strangest fears. So I realized I had this phobia 4 years back, and I see myself as a problem solver. So every time any problem come in my life, I'm so rushed to solve my problem as soon as possible. So in the same way, I reacted in this situation. So what we do when we try to find out the answer, where do we really look at? Yes, I Google it. So I found out 2 answers. One is taking the therapy. So if you ever taken a therapy or you gone through the fee of a therapist, you must know that for one session, the therapist takes rupees 5,000. And a therapist at least takes 7 to 8 sessions to get familiar with your problem. At that time, I was a student. And you already know how much money we generally get from home. And in my case, I was always broke. So in the next stage, facing the fears. Well, quite Rodi's thought, but I really wanted to get rid of this fear as soon as possible. So I decided to participate in water sport. So I took the solo trip of Rishikesh to do the river rafting 3 years back. And Rishikesh and river rafting complement each other in such a way that one word can't be thought of another. So I reached the Rishikesh and booked the ticket for river rafting and went near the riverside. And I saw 6 hippie guys also waiting to hop on the boat with me and the tourist guide. I was so nervous to sat on the boat, but somehow I started my journey with lifesaver jacket on. So when one wave passed, tourist guide told us, jump into the river. I was like, what? That was not in my plan. But one by one, every guy jumped into the river. And I'm the person, if they can do it, I can do it too. So after doing the 10 seconds of self-pep talk, I also jump into the river. So I tell you, I have never gone near the swimming pool. I didn't know what to do with my hand or leg in the water. So I did some embarrassing dance poses in the water, and it didn't happen 1 time or 2 times. It happened 6 times because every time they jumped, I jumped. Moving ahead, if you ever done the river rafting in the Rishikesh, you must know that there's a place called Cliff Point where people jump from the 40 feet height. And also almost every boat stop there. According to tourist guide, it is the most exciting part of the river rafting. Well, God knows. So when we went near the cliff, one by one, every guy jumped from that cliff. So guess what? I also had to jump. So I was standing near the cliff and I started doing the SWOT analysis, means analyzing the situation, what the pros and cons of the situation that I was standing in front of it. So I asked myself, Sadaf, if you jump from here right now, what will worst happen to you? So my inner me told me, well, for starters, you are wearing the lifesaver jacket. If something go wrong, you are going to float on the surface of water in the next 5 to 6 hours, and somebody will surely come to save you. And next thing is, it doesn't matter at all. Now you can embarrass yourself in front of large gathering. So let's jump. If you don't do it now, you are not going to do it ever. So I jumped. And the 3 seconds when my full body was inside the water, I must tell you, it was the most deadly and amazing experience of my life. And I can bet that I'm not going to forget that 3-second moment till the oblivion. Nowadays, moving back, when I come back from the river after a few minutes, I knew one thing, that I was a different person. From the person who was so nervous to sat on the boat with 7 strangers 45 minutes back. I now know that I can do anything, whatever I set my mind for. And these days, I am thinking about taking the swimming classes to get rid of completely fear of water from me, because we all know repetition brings the familiarity and familiarity brings the comfort. And I would like to end my speech with a very special poem. And here it goes. Don't give up. Don't give in. There's always an answer to everything. And I found myself running from calamity, insanity to sanity. This is the reality. And we forget who created us and molded us and made us human beings with details and fashion of DNA and genes, who gave us mind to judge our own action and routines. By all means, don't give up. Don't give in. There's always an answer to everything. Thank you.